Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today is honestly quite a grim day for YouTube. Out of all of the, well, I've been doing YouTube for 13 years now. Out of the dozens, if not hundreds of videos I've made in that time period talking about changes that YouTube has made, situations and controversies that have come up, I've uploaded through all the adpocalypse situations. I've uploaded through COVID when there were all of these roadblocks and barriers put up around what you could say and talk about in your videos. I went through all of that. I've gone through the platform devolving from a user-friendly paradise for people to express themselves to a sanitized, corporatized TV light ad offering. I've basically seen quite a bit of changes, mostly bad, some good, that have come out of YouTube, and I have to say, just sitting here racking my brain over the last couple of hours since I've read the news that sparked this video, I really can't think of another moment that made me as sick as this one here in particular has. So this is unfortunately part of a wider network of changes, updates, laws, things like that that have all been working in tangent, basically to change the internet. And I talked about this starting a couple of days ago. I made a video called The Internet As You Know It Is Being Destroyed. In this video, I talked about how in the UK, the new Online Safety Act that has been rolled out over the last few years really starting to get enforced now, and all of these other simultaneous Western government actions being taken to place age and ID verification all over the internet. I've been talking about how this is going to destroy the free internet as we know it, how it is essentially a censorship dictatorship being put over the internet by several different governments and by corporations and interest groups that fund the governments in all these different countries. Basically, it's a large, very particular kind of change that is being made, and now YouTube is the newest victim of this update. So we just got news that starting on August 13th of this year, so in other words, only like 2 weeks from when this video is gonna go up, YouTube here in the United States is going to start enforcing this new age verification system, and it is pretty stupid on paper, just as is, right? Like, I've already talked plenty about how age verification is pointless. It does nothing to actually protect anybody online. You know, they always say, oh, we're doing this for children. We're doing this to protect kids. It's nothing about protecting children. It's all about giving governments access to shutting down content that they don't like, giving themselves access to stop people from consuming, making, expressing opinions, content, whatever, right, that could go against narratives that are being perpetrated by the government. It is more and more about invading your privacy, destroying what semblance of privacy you have through the internet, de-anonymizing you so that everything you say and do online can be tracked to you personally. And now YouTube is unfortunately going to be, I guess, part of this. Now, in the video I just made, we were talking about in the UK, that's where the bill was really being pushed, and that has been really kind of expanding over the last couple of days. But this is here in the United States, so this is even more alarming because this isn't even necessarily due to that bill. This is now being enforced here in America. So this new YouTube feature is not going to be manually reviewed by employees or anything like that. It is an AI auto-detecting feature. So essentially, you make a YouTube account, you provide YouTube your age, whether or not that be an accurate age. You make like an account age, like a year born or whatever. And even though you set this on your profile, YouTube will use things like your viewing history, activity on your account otherwise, basically to generate like an AI profile of you. And this AI profile, if based on what you watch or what you do on the platform, if it determines that you're not actually an adult and it determines that you're a child, essentially it will lock your account on specific features that are considered to be, I guess, too extreme or too bad for children to consume, which, well, I would assume would be you can't watch like age-restricted videos, stuff like that, which on YouTube, age restriction can be anything from like actually violating the policies of the like platform itself, or it could literally just be a YouTube video that lightly covers a somewhat controversial subject, or it could contain too many swear words, and that's just enough to be considered age restricted. So the system itself before all of this was already fucking stupid and broken. I've had plenty of videos be marked as age restricted that should not have been. YouTube is already known as a faulty platform that doesn't enforce its policies or systems well whatsoever, and then now they're bringing in not even like a manually reviewed viewing feature, but an AI overview feature that doesn't even take your actual input into consideration. So starting on August 13th, if you do not verify your account once it is flagged for this type of behavior that is apparently child stuff or whatever, you will be forced to do one of three things to verify that you're an adult on the platform. You can either A, upload a biometric scanning picture or selfie of yourself. That way Google and YouTube, and as an extension, the NSA, the US federal government, the big five intelligence agencies around the globe, they can all have access and input on this data, so that the more and more that you biometrically scan yourself across all your platforms, you can have a comprehensive profile built of you that is attached to your actual biological signatures like your face. Or, of course, if you're not comfortable with providing that, you can upload an image of your government ID, like a driver's license, passport. Once again, uploading a picture of yourself, your legal information, including your name, date of birth, your address that you live at, more than likely, maybe your social security number if that's on the document that you're using, or you can upload a credit card verification where I guess you can use one of your credit cards to verify that you're an adult, which of course you're inputting your financial data that is tied to you as a person and your credit score, so that once again these corporations, the government, whatnot, can build a comprehensive profile based on your online doings that can then later be absorbed into a wider database. And this isn't even a conspiracy thing. This is all out in the open. I mean, we've seen in the last few months companies like Palantir, who have gained access and approval from the US federal government to combine information about American citizens across all the government databases into a unified database using artificial intelligence. This will now all, it'll of course include all of the things that you're doing online, because the NSA, private corporations that are, of course, infiltrated by the government, whatever it may be, they are all tied into the same network. So YouTube now is going to be basically, I don't know, there's people who are saying like they're worried, for instance, if they watch like Minecraft YouTubers or whatever, right? I'm a grown-ass man. I'm assuming many of you are grown as well. Sometimes you like to watch old cartoon highlights on YouTube or Minecraft videos, which inherently these types of videos are seen as like child-friendly or whatever, right? But now the worry is if you just simply are like watching shit like this and the AI on YouTube detects too much of it, it's just going to assume that you're a child. And guess what? No matter who you are or what, you're going to be uploading your government ID or a picture of yourself or whatever to actually unlock your account. Now, once again, this is constantly being pushed by governments, by corporations, as being about safety. We're trying to protect children. What if they see horrible things online that may influence them or harm them? That is the constant message that we get on why this is necessary, on why now to watch skibbity toilet YouTube videos, people have to put their fucking government ID in to use the website, right? But of course, anyone who pays any attention to anything realizes this has nothing to do with protecting children. Once again, let's resort back to this recent UK online safety bill fiasco for a perfect example. I made this video a few days ago talking about how, once again, they're trying to do these age verifications online in places like the UK now so that they can quote-unquote protect kids from seeing things online or stopping misinformation or harmful and hateful rhetoric, whatever, right? They always have some excuse, some dart that they can throw at the board, But within a few days of this being enacted over the last couple of days, now apps like Spotify in the UK are requiring people to insert their government or biometric data for the company to store to prove that they're adults so that they can, listen to fucking podcasts or put on music. So yes, with this new technology that is designed to save children, where you have to input this information about yourself and basically de-anonymize yourself at the behest of corporations and the government online, you're doing this because apparently going on Spotify and deciding to put on some Frank Sinatra is so harmful and hateful that children must be protected from it. In fact, you need to put your government ID into Spotify. And it has even been said that Spotify is now threatening users that if they do not verify accounts when prompted, they will lose access to their Spotify account. So it's not even just that, you'll have restricted features. It's the service that you pay monthly for, that you have a subscription for. You will be unallowed access to that, basically. The thing you're paying for, the product you're buying, will be revoked. You will lose access to your Spotify account. You will lose all your playlists. You will lose all of your time and whatnot that you've put into that. You'll lose your favorite podcasts. Because how dare you not verify yourself through your government ID or through your biometric data so that you can be de-anonymized on the internet and you're no longer a threat to the government or to corporations, whatever, right? Because you could be harmful. This is where it inevitably goes. It always starts with, oh, we're gonna stop the bad guys. We're gonna save people. We're gonna make it better for everybody. Then it turns out into, oh, well, you wanna just have entertainment products in your life? Well, you better be verifying who you are before you access this. So we were worried here in the United States. We were worried that, oh, within the next few years, maybe we're gonna start getting these kinds of laws. And it's already been proposed here in America many times in Congress and whatnot to do things like this, to make sure that people have to use their ID to use websites online. They have to verify who they are, whatever, right? But we thought, oh, this will be a few years away before it becomes a real problem. Well, no, it isn't actually, because guess what? It's already here. Whether you want it to be, whether you don't want it to be, it's here. Like, it's gonna be here. It is here. The companies are already doing it. And this is just the beginning. You know, this is the initial rollout. This is the acceptance phase of the entire process. This is what they do. They roll it out in small, controlled waves like this, where, you know, oh, maybe it's one or two websites, it's one or two countries. But you'll notice that all of these changes are happening in all of these Western countries, all at the same time, all randomly. Now, is it just a coincidence that everywhere in the West all of a sudden wants to pass this sweeping, comprehensive security bill that locks down the internet and gives the government and private enterprise all of the reason and access in the world to de-anonymize and fuck with people and suppress them and shut down their access to certain things? Is it all a coincidence that it's all happening simultaneously? That it's all happening at the same exact time? Well, no, it's not a coincidence. And the reason it's not a coincidence is because if it were just like, oh, all of these people, all of these countries or whatever deciding to do it at the same time, why are they all doing it the exact same way? Why is it all starting with like entertainment services? Like in the UK, oh, it's Spotify. Here in the US, it's YouTube. Like I said, it's very controlled how this is rolled out and how these kinds of changes happen. They do it with one or two things. They kind of float the idea with legislation and debates and whatnot online about it. You argue about it, you forget about it for a little while because, you know, oh, it's only one or two websites, or, well, it's only like one or two things. Then next thing you know, here in a couple more months, another website, Facebook or Twitter or whatever, is going to do the same thing. Then you fast forward 5 years after all these little baby steps of one domino falling, the next domino falling, suddenly you realize you can't just get on Google Chrome and type in the URL to a website and just look at it anymore. You now will be age checked to make sure that you're not a restricted user on the platform. And if you don't verify yourself with government ID, with your biometric data, with something attached to your line of credit or your financial situation in some way, you'll just be banned from using these platforms. And then everybody has to comply, right? Because not everyone is giving up Netflix. Not everybody is giving up YouTube. Not everybody is giving up all of these different things. So you're gonna go through with it. And then by that point, it's normal because, well, you gotta do it for everything. It's not just one website anymore. It's not just, you know, the video site. It's everywhere. It's to access your email. It's to access Facebook. It's to access porn. It's to access video games. It's to access anything. You're logging in. You're telling some company, the government, whoever it may be watching, probably both. You're telling them what you're doing, what you're saying, what you think, what you buy, what you play. And this is already 90% done, right? They already know all these things anyway. But now we're just combing it all together. We're sifting it into one location. We're giving it all into one centralized command point, basically. And this is the end of the internet as we know it. The days where the internet can be used to freely transmit information, to actually enjoy it as an entertainment service, to communicate with people online without some sort of structure putting things in the way, roadblocking you, preventing you from saying or thinking or doing certain things, those days are gone. And it's getting worse. Obviously, like this is an AI product, okay? YouTube is going to be using AI to determine that you're no longer an adult and that you have to identify yourself to use the platform. It really is insane and disturbing to watch, like to just see all of this going down all at the same time, all constantly. Oh, protect the kids, save people, we got to stop the degeneracy, social media, yada, 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 yada. It's all the same fucking thing. It's all the same purpose behind it that is constantly being hidden behind these messages of saving kids and protecting the world from misinformation and all of this other bullshit. None of this stuff has an actual strict definition for us to target, for us to do anything about. It's malicious in nature to do it that way because if there is no actual guideline, any stated objective, it gives them free rein to do things outside of the operational boundaries. If they say, for instance, that the only thing that they're targeting is hateful conduct, well, what is hateful conduct? To you, saying God bless you might be considered hateful conduct. To me, maybe it's a racial slur. To the next guy over, maybe it's nothing, you know, maybe he has no limits. Nobody knows what any of this actually means because there is no real definition. Like, you can obviously have objectively things that we would all consider wrong for the most part, but not everybody follows an objective system like that. And so, from country to country, things like harmful rhetoric or hateful conduct mean different things. There is no actual definition. There is no actual guideline. And because of that, you just saying, fuck the president, or I hate the United States, which are constitutionally protected speeches anyway, but that could be considered hateful or harmful conduct. And guess what? Because, well, technically it's a private company that's enforcing these laws, even though we know for a fact that the CIA, the NSA, the intelligence apparatus of the US federal government has infiltrated all of these companies, is definitely pushing for this, is definitely wanting this to happen. Since it's a private company, technically, it's not a constitutional attack. It's not an attack on your free speech. It's not an attack on your rights as a person. And so right now, you know, it's, oh, well, we don't want kids seeing naughty videos. We don't want kids seeing hateful speech on the internet. You know, maybe something that a message we don't condone or agree with. Tomorrow, it's, okay, well, anyone who's actually posting anything critical about the United States government or any of our foreign policies or any of our domestic operations, well, actually, that's considered hateful conduct now. And in order to say anything like this online, your account is now going to need to be unlocked with your government ID. And so from there, we know everything in plain text, in plain view, basically, about who it is spreading these messages and saying these things. It's no longer just some anonymous troll on the internet who's saying this or, you know, some profile. Now it's John Smith, who lives at 123 Anywhere Avenue in any city, USA, 12345. His social security is this. His credit score is this. His bank accounts are through here. We know this because the credit cards that he uses to verify these accounts are here. We have it all tied back to his actual federal information and whatnot in the banking system. Everything is going to be tied together this way. And we, here in the United States, we talk a lot and we point the finger at places like China a lot for things like social credit, which if you don't know what that is, quick rundown. In China, they essentially have like a social credit system. Everybody is assigned a number based on how like good or bad your decision making is. Your score is boosted or dropped. So things as simple as jaywalking in the street. You can be spotted on CCTV. It can facially recognize you jaywalking in the street, and it can knock 10 points off your social credit. It's essentially a system where the government assigns a number or a variable to you that can be changed at any time, and that variable decides whether or not you're considered essentially a good and valuable productive member of society. And we point the finger at that and laugh because it's dystopian. We're like, how could China do this? You know, how could China have a social credit system? We have the same fucking thing. We have the same thing, except it's not one number. It's not like one number like the Chinese do. In America, now it's this multi-network that all ties together, where your credit score determines what loans you can take out, you know, your financial freedom in a lot of cases. That's now all tied to what you say and do on the internet that you're verifying through your government IDs, all tied back to your personal information in a Palantir database somewhere in the government, you know. Things that you say and do online, you know, how, I guess, nasty you are compared to the ideals of the US government can now all be traced in one spot. Everything you're verifying and putting together is right there for them. You're doing it all for them. It's not even really like they're data collecting. You're voluntarily giving it over now in this system that they're trying to set up. And if you think that this is not going to be long-term used adversely against the population, people who are dissenting, people who have bad opinions, maybe they don't support war efforts, or maybe they think the US government is evil, whatever, right? These things will inevitably be used, whether we know about it or not. It will inevitably be used all together in an overarching system to fuck with your life, to fuck with you in some way. And people think it's like a joke when you say that. They think it's like a conspiracy, but this is the world that we're in. This is where we're going. Technology is no longer your friend. The internet is no longer something that you use for fun or to learn. These things are mechanisms and control schemes of the federal government, of private equity in America, of all of these different systems that all overlap with one another, that all realistically have the same intent, okay? Which is to keep you submissive, which is to keep you positively viewing the government, positively viewing the economic system, positively viewing virtually everything. That way you don't dissent. Because if you dissent, you're dangerous. You're a problem, right? And I don't think it's a coincidence that all of this is suddenly rolling out now, as there is a lot of political instability in these Western nations. We have a radical difference in political viewings in not only just the United States, but in most Western countries. Here in the US, for instance, young men are swinging wildly conservatively very quickly. Americans are more aware than ever of the horrific actions of the US federal government. We're constantly learning about new things that the government is doing. As we're speaking right now, the President of the United States, his entire administration, the entirety of Congress, the House of Representatives, Senate, all of it, the judicial system, it is all working together to cover up the fact that the government is run by a cabal of pedophiles that work in unison with Hollywood, Wall Street executives, the rich, the upper class of American society, in sex cult rituals, in trafficking children and other sex victims, all kinds of different things. These things are not conspiracies. These things are just objectively these are things that 80% of people know about and agree with at this point, right? But they're telling you there's no Epstein list because everybody in America right now is pissed off that they won't expose the Epstein list. Well, guess what? If this age ID verification shit was already in place when this whole Epstein crisis broke out, this shit would have been shut off immediately because they would have just had somebody at the CIA or NSA go talk to the private companies and tell them, hey, anytime anyone mentions Epstein, you lock their account for age ID verification. That way they put in their government ID and we know who's saying these things. That's literally what this is. People think, we're protecting kids, we're doing this for safety. This is nothing to do with safety. This is nothing to do with protecting you or your children or your families. This is about continuing to develop and maintain the stronghold that they, the government, the upper class, the people who live in essentially another world that we don't live in, that these people stay in control. They are building more levers, more mechanisms to control people. They're building more mechanisms to destroy the things that make us happy. And realistically, they're trying to crush our voice box because, let's be real, most Americans right now, is anyone really happy with the way things are going? Nobody can buy a house. Nobody is getting ahead in life. Nobody is getting to save any money because everybody's living on the edge. The wages in this country have not kept up with inflation. People who would have 35 years ago lived in a nice home with families and had great jobs and supportive structures around them are struggling to find even the most basic sense of identity. There is no national unity anymore. The country is polarized on several different topics and issues and whatnot. Nobody is happy with the way that things are going, and people are more and more frequently pointing out these problems and pointing out the issues that inevitably there will be some major catastrophic violent situation over. There will come a day where people get tired enough and shit hits the fan. But it's a lot easier to delay that or to push that off if they can shut you down at the source. The moment you try to talk about it or you try to, look up anything, research anything, to give themselves a kill switch or at least a switch that allows them to stack the cards in their favor with something like this, it means a lot more than people are willing to admit. And sure, it may not be the penultimate moment in which the lives of everyone is destroyed, but this is a serious enough situation that people should care. people should care that they are trying to lie to your face about making your life safer, when in reality, all this sets out to do, at least, is to give them more control over you and everything you have going on for you. This doesn't make anything better for anyone but them. So what do we do about all this? I mean, I really don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know. I mean, it's at a point where what can you really do? This is the way everything is kind of going. I don't know if people will have the courage to stop it before it's too far out of control and basically implement it anyway. My plan right now is, once I learned about this, I went to Rumble, I updated my profile there again to auto-syndicate my uploads automatically from YouTube. Starting with this video, I believe Rumble will now have my channel over there updated with all of my uploads here. That way, if anyone has any issues with verifying yourself or anything on YouTube you don't want to deal with, but you still want to watch my videos or other people who also auto-syndicate to places like Rumble, you will have another option to watch my content that does not revolve around this. And I think that is going to be one of the most important bastions in this fight against this, in this crusade against this verification shit. The platforms that hold out the longest are going to benefit the most from this. And that is the honest truth, because if there is a platform, if hopefully places like Rumble stay away from the ID verification, I don't know that they will forever, but hopefully they delay it as far as they can. That will be a genuine marketing boost for people like myself who I don't want to put my fucking driver's license into YouTube. I mean, I've been getting paid from these people for years. They know who I am. They know about me, right? You don't need more. You don't need to add more, another 3 lines to your database fucking with me because of what I have to say, right? So there will be that option. If you want to go to Odyssey or Rumble or another third-party alternative and watch my content there, that will be an option. For at least the foreseeable future. I hope that the feature actually does work. I was having problems getting it to actually work. But anyway, that is at least my plan as of right now. We'll see how this continues to go in the future, but as of right now, man, it is a terrible look for the outlook of the internet here. I mean, we are just, we are cooked beyond imagination. The internet that the 90s and 2000s kids grew up with, where, you know, it's just a free internet. You got on, you logged onto your favorite site, you put some music on, had a good day. Those days they're going away. They're going away. You will fall into the corporate zeitgeist. You will fall in line with their beliefs. You will spread only messages, ideals, and things that they agree with. You will sell and buy products that only they agree with, and that the US federal government, by extension, agrees with enough to not fuck with you over it, right? So, pretty awesome. Pretty great day, right? So anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimus subscribers. Your support helps the channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, telling you to put your ID in order to watch my videos, and signing out.